should really avoid. And if you aren't wise enough to recognize that, you're going to be in trouble. Your children are going to be in trouble, right? Because they need you to do this. They need you to figure this out. This is a promise that you need to make yourself. And the promise that you need to make yourself is, I will not leave my family with questions, right? I will leave them with systems. Love is not only what we feel, but it's what we prepare too. So, what are you preparing your family for? How are you going to take their lives to the next level, right? What is the families and structures and the systems that they're going to be able to replicate long after you aren't here anymore? So most families possess deep love for one another, yet often hampers their growth is a lack of effective structure. Many people are lacking from this effective structure, right? They're not able to replicate and carry on the processes, or we like to call SOPs, the standard operating procedures that's going to take you to the next level. So love without documentation can lead to confusion, but systems can transform love into a lasting legacy, right? Systems can transform love into a lasting legacy. So how much do you really love your people, right? How much do you really love them, right? And so what's the real problem? Let me talk to you. What's the real problem? The real problem is that without established systems and clarity, right, families risk losing precious time and legacy, right? Precious time and legacy. And what again did we say earlier? Time is your most precious asset. Time is your most precious asset. And if you do not take time to value this asset, other people will come and steal it away. Families risk losing precious time and legacy. Understanding this lack of structure is crucial for building a future where values and knowledge are effectively passed down to the next generation. What are you passing down to the next generation, right? What are you leaving them with that they cannot leave themselves? What are you leaving them with that they cannot leave themselves, right? So, what is the cost of that chaos, right? What is the cost of that chaos that you've been left with? Are you continuing the same process that you said that you would avoid, right? Because time leaks that never get recovered lead to unforeseen challenges, right? Legal risks remain undiscovered, causing additional stress. The revenue is lost due to slow follow up, resulting in burnout at home before it reaches the workplace. So, how are you currently burnt out in your mode of operations, your mode of work, your mode of family, the way that you're doing family, right? You got to look at your calendar, baby. You got to look at your calendar. Your calendar will tell you what you've left yourself available for. Because what happens if you're unavailable tomorrow? Right? What happens if you're unavailable tomorrow? Would your spouse know how to run it? Would your children understand what you've built? Would your team know where to find everything? Right? Where have you left this information? Consider whether they will inherit confusion or will they inherit a complete operating system? Right? Will they inherit a complete operating system? So, what are you leaving your family? What are you leaving them? Right? Talk to me if this is making sense, and make sure you're asking some questions, right? Because what's the big idea? The big idea is that AI is not the product, right? Family is the core focus of what we're talking about here, right? AI is just a tool, but the family and finishing that family that you started is what's most important, right? Because you have a duty, a responsibility to finish what you started. You got a duty and responsibility to do the right thing, because even when no one else is looking, it's still the right thing. Automation serves as the tool that enhances your life, while money fuels our endeavors, right? So, how are you fueling your endeavor? While money fuels this endeavor, right? How are you using the tools that you've been given? Right now, you have a computer, right now, you have a phone. How are you utilizing this tool to talk to the people, to magnetize your voice, right? Social media, right now, is transformed to what they call interest media. You have an opportunity to only talk about what's your interest. So, how are you using what you're interested in to further your life? That's the beauty of the world, the matrix that we're currently in right now. You can talk about your interests and get money from it. But the key is you're too afraid of being embarrassed. That's the real truth. You're too afraid to be embarrassed. And because you're afraid of being embarrassed, you're afraid to put yourself out there. So ultimately, time. Time is your most valuable asset and you're giving it up too easily. In fact, you should charge more for it, right? You need to charge more for your time, right? And your family is your ultimate mission. Your family is your ultimate mission, right? So let's again talk about what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about introducing that family operating system. I want to leave you all with an operating system that you can utilize to transform your life. Because the documented way your family organization run, built once and refined forever, because you got to keep refining it. You got to see what works and refine it in order to make it better. It functions whether you are in the room or not, ensuring seamless operations and connections that last across generations, right? So again, that's what we're talking about in this hour, right? So why are we different? Why are we different? Because again, this is a business I have with Wifey. Most courses that teach you how to use AI. We teach you how to build a stronger family using AI. Our focus is on system. legal planning, documentation, and automation. Family is our destination, not just AI, but AI is a critical tool. Right. So, what is the family operating system? What's the family operating system that we're talking about? Right. Family is the core reason behind every decision made. Automation. Right. Automation streamlines the processes and allowing families to thrive effortlessly. Right. Because again, and this is the acronym FAM. Right. FAM. Right. M being the mindset. A growth mindset fosters resilience and adaptability in families, right? So, how are you fostering that growth in your mindset, right? How are you fostering that growth in your mindset? Because stinking thinking is probably what got you into the current predicament that you're in right now. That stinking thinking is what probably got you in that predicament that you're in right now. So, your family is the core reason behind every decision that you're making. Automation, right, is what's going to streamline that process and make it easier for you to reach the people because you got to reach the people because everybody has a message. Again, what's F? I heard you out there. F is for family. Mission, vision, and purpose define your family. So, what's that mission and vision that you got to put forth? What's that mission and vision that's been on your heart that I'm here to pull out of you, that I'm here to develop with you, that I'm here to help you take that further? They call me a family legacy coach. You know what I'm talking about? I'm here to make sure that you leave a legacy for your family because if you're not thinking about it, then I will. I'm here to make sure that you're thinking about that right thing. So, mission, vision, and purpose define your family. Strong marriage, joyful children, and an enduring legacy that creates freedom. You see, this foundation builds organizations that uplift rather than consume your time and energy. So, what are you doing to uplift yourself, uplift your family, uplift your time and your impact, right? Because this is what's going to take you to the next level, right? So, I'm going to leave you some questions, right? So, you got to think about these questions because this, again, is the family foundation. So, question number one: what do you want your children to inherit, right? Question number one: what do you want your children to inherit? Appreciate that. Like, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe because we're talking that truth that you need to hear. What up, my brother Okemini Prince? I see you over there on the YouTube. My YouTube family's over here. Family question: what do you want your children to inherit? What do you want your children to inherit, right? That's the first question. Question number two: weekly strongly meetings, we like to say, because again, we don't do nothing weak around here. We like to flip the word, make sure you take a positive mindset. Strongly meetings strengthen family bonds and communication, right? Right? So, what family rituals do you want to leave your family with? Right? Question number three: family dashboard, a centralized space for tracking goals and progress. Where are you tracking your progress? Right? Are you writing it down? Are you doing it on your social media? So how are you? What are you utilizing to make sure that you're taking yourself to the next level? And number four, shared calendar, right? Synchronized schedules ensure everyone is on the same page. What are you utilizing? What calendar can everyone look at to make sure that they're on the same page, to make sure that they are staying on track? Because a lot of times we aren't on track for the wrong reasons, right? Right? We aren't on track because we're not writing it down. So again, what's ongoing right now? Again, a strongly family meeting, making sure that you're continually taking things to the next level. Another thing that's ongoing is that family dashboard always being upgraded, updated to make sure that it's full of the right information. Another thing that's ongoing is shared family calendar, right? Consistent communication and alignment. You got to be in alignment, baby. You got to be in alignment, right? You can't be off kilter and wonder why things are going wrong. Is because you're not in alignment. So consistent communication and alignment is key, right? Centralized overview of your goals and your progress. What's your long-term goal? Again, we like to do things. Let's break it down. So we're talking about what you want to get done in 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades. And the goal is to do what you thought you would do in 3 decades in 3 years, the things that you thought would take 3 years in 3 months, and the things that you want to do in 3 months in 3 days. You dig? You see what I'm saying? We even skip over the strongs to get weeks, right? Because we don't do no week over here. You know what I'm talking about? We're talking about the strong. You know what I'm saying? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do that's going to take your life to the next level? And how are you going to synchronize that life that you're here to create? Again, what's A? Automation. You got that right. You got that right. You got that right. A is for automation, right? We build systems so the business runs with less friction and more freedom. AI handles the repetitive work, allowing you to focus on your visionary goals. Automation effectively buys back hours, not just effort. You have to be able to buy back this time, right? Whether it's automating the content, the protent, again, because we turn everything positive, right? Or whether we're talking about the actual operations, you can even streamline your operations and streamline the work that needs to be done. Think about how you're going to do this, right? So the automation cycle, what is the automation cycle? I heard you out there. So documenting your processes effectively, right? That's first. Then standardizing your procedures consistently. That's two. And then number three, automating your tools efficiently, right? You got to automate these tools, baby. You got to automate these tools. So make sure that you capture essential process and knowledge, because too many people are leaving things to question, to guesswork, and you can't do that any longer. You got to create persistent procedures for smooth operations. If you want to be smooth, it got to be clear, baby, because people love clear. So implement AI and tools for seamless automation, right? Implement AI and tools for seamless automation, because if you do this, you'll take yourself to the next level. So again, what's the evolution? What's the evolution? What's the evolution, right? So the evolution is first your manual work, and you could be starting off at the year today, right? Manual work in 2026. I do everything, right? Then the next level is semi-manual, where you have templates, right? You have your standard operating procedures written down. The next level is semi-automated, right? You have systems, you're using AI, but you still have to be the one pushing the button, right? Fully automated, you own the systems, right? The systems are automatically doing the work that you've asked it to do, and it's adapting, it's growing, and it's taking it to the next level. And again, 2034, taking it to the next level. How are you empowered, right? From business busy to present, right? Instead of being always busy with the work, because sometimes some people are just glorified employees in their own business, right? They're just glorified employees in their own business. But you want to be able to fire yourself, right? You want to be able to fire yourself and sit down somewhere so that you can truly think about what life has to offer and the time with your family. Because again, remember, it's about that fam, baby. It's about that fam, baby. So, are you overwhelmed by tasks and responsibilities, right? If I'm talking to you, let me know. Are you relying on creating these templates for efficiencies but don't know where to start, right? Are the systems in place for your smoother operations, right? Do you want complete control over your life but don't know how to streamline and automate these processes, right? And are you seeking just to achieve balance and clarity in your life? If I'm talking to you, let me know, man, because we've all been there. You might be in between these roads, right? You might be in between these roads, man. Where you at right now is the question that you got to think about. Where you're probably at right now is being honest with your stage. You got to be honest with the current stage that you're in right now. And the stage that you're probably in right now is journeying towards establishing efficient systems. You got to journey towards effectiveness, right? Most founders find themselves caught between manual processes and templates, never taking that leap to automation. So understand the gap is essential for transformation, right? You got to take this to the next level. And again, what's M? Mindset. You got to have a great mindset, a positive mindset, right? That thinking is what's got you here, right? That thinking is what got you here. So you got to reverse that. You got to have positive thinking. You got to have a positive attitude about the outcomes in your life, because you get what you think about. A man will create the environment and the reality that he thinks he will have. If you don't think you'll win, if you're sometimes we're so scared to lose than we are to win, right? We're more scared to lose than we are to win. Let me repeat that. We're more scared to lose than we are to win. And so technology amplifies these habits. It does not replace them. See, emphasizing ownership and stewardship fosters long-term thinking, disciplined decision making, and a commitment, right, to continuous improvement for families and businesses alike. Right. So what are you going to do? That stewardship standard. How are you going to steward to the people? How are you going to take your legacy, your goals to the next level? How are you going to show that you care about this thing, right? How are you going to show love for it truly? How are you really going to do that? Are you just going to hope that it gets done like that one day, or are you really going to see it through, right? Are you effectively going to see this through? Because I know you can do it. You're here for a reason. You got to see it through. So the stewardship standard, what's that stewardship standard? You are managing something you did not create alone, right? Decisions measured in decades, not days, right? So you gotta look out not just in the moment. You can't let your emotional intelligence be low and just make flash mistakes. You have to think far out ahead. So leadership is clarity repeated. Improvement beats intensity, ensuring that your legacy is one of strength and resilience for future generations. You got to think ahead, baby. You got to think ahead. So we get into the ILY, because I love you, because I love you that you're here. ILY, right? I is for initiative. Action is the driving force behind successful organizations. Launching new ideas, continuously improving, and focusing on execution allows teams to progress. Everyone involved contributes meaningfully, ensuring that no lesson is left unimplemented. You got to take initiative. You got to take initiative. Most times things don't happen because we're afraid to make them happen. But you have to be the one that changes that reality for you and your family. L is for love. Love in this is an essential foundation for every family. It prepares us for the challenges, documents our shared history, teaches values, and protects our legacy. Systems reflect love by reducing confusion, by reducing that confusion, right? So, are you confused by what you have to do? Are you confused by your daily movements, which what each day is going to bring, right? If it's not clear what you have to do the next day, then that might show that may not be on the right track, right? Systems reflect love by reducing confusion. You got to reduce that confusion in your life, baby. If you don't reduce that confusion, it's not going to take yourself to the next level. You're not going to take yourself to the next level. You got to take yourself to the next level, all right? You can do this. You can do this because it prepares us for challenges, right? It prepares us for challenges. Documents are shared goals, our shared standards, our shared realities, right? You have to do this because if you don't do this in your bloodline, then who will? So it prepares us to challenges, documents our shared histories, teaches these values, and protects our legacy. Systems reflect love by reducing confusion for those who depend on us. So who's depending on you to figure it out? Because you must show up today. You must show up for yourself even when no one is there. You must show up for yourself every single day. Because why is for yourself. That's because again the acronym is family. Why is for yourself. You must show up every day. Priority and marriage because it's essential for your personal growth. Embracing rest and creativity and pursue your purpose and calling. Remember, if the owner burns out, then the organization follows suit in its collapse, right? If you burn out, if you don't have the energy for yourself, if you don't have the love for yourself, if you don't have the belief in yourself, none of this is gonna happen. None of this is gonna work. So you got to take care of numero uno, baby. You got to take care of yourself, and you got to have a relationship with the Most High. Most importantly, right? You got to have a relationship with the Most High to keep you empowered through the trials that will surely come. Not if they come, surely come, right? What will you do when they come? How will you believe in yourself when they come, right? Will you take yourself to the next level in order to get there, right? So the family operating system we're going to leave you with is a unified vision. Because again, family creates the direction, automation creates the capacity, and your mindset sustains it. Initiate and your initiative launches it. Your love protects it. Yourself, you empower it, right? Together they form a cohesive framework. And what's that framework that we like to share with people? It's that AIR method. Like, and when you're talking Jordan, you know what I'm talking about? Step one, audit and review. You got to audit and review yourself. What has been working, right? What has not been working? Identify those time leaks and your legal risks in life. What has been the issues? What have been the things that you've been leaving unattended, right? Step number two, improve and agree, right? You got to improve and agree, and you got to agree on those improvements. So define your roles. What's your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, and your communication policies? The reason why this is critical as we seek to automate is because it's these roles are what you're gonna hand off to your AI agents, right? Your AI automation. It's going to be the roles that they're going to do for you, right? So your standard operating procedures, if it's already written down, it's going to be even easier for you to pass that along. And so you can focus on other things, right? So you can focus on other things. Again, because too many people are too busy working in the business, not on the business, right? Too many people are working in the business, not on the business. They're not able to take a step back and look at the big picture. And that's what your role is as the founder, as the creator, as the main person. You got to be able to look at the big picture. What are you doing this for? Because if you lost that, then it's going to be unclear, right? Step number three, repeat your success. Document, automate, measure, and improve the processes. You got to improve your processes, man. You got to keep improving. You got to keep improving, right? So audit and review, uncovering inefficiencies. So to build an effective family operating system, it's essential to first identify inefficiencies. This audits and review process will highlight areas that need attention, right? So time leaks, identify tasks consuming your time unnecessarily, your legal risks, assessing potential vulnerabilities in your documentation gaps, pinpointing missing or outdated procedures, technology flaws, evaluate the tools you use and their effectiveness, people and processes, right? Review the roles and workflows in your family or your organizations. You got to continuously be looking at what is working, what is not working. What is the full client experience? What is the full client journey? How do people hear about you? And a great way to find that is asking, right? Your clients that you currently have, taking that survey and figuring out with them, hey, how did you hear about us? How did you get here, right? And doubling down on that, on those channels that are already working, or even trying new channels so that you can reach your targeted audience, right? Map out how clients interact with your system from start to the finish, right? Where is it the areas that they start to get pain points? Where's the area that they start to drop off? Where's the area that they start to have questions, right? What's the area that they struggle with, right? So, because by comprehensively addressing these points, you create you create a clear picture of your current state. This will lay the groundwork for developing a more efficient and robust system, right? A more efficient and robust system, right? A more efficient and robust system. If you do this, it'll take yourself to the next level. If you do this, though, but you got to do it, baby. You got to do it, right? You got to do it. No one can do this but you. No one can do this but you. No one can do this but you, right? So audit and review, right? Uncovering these inefficiencies. So to build an effective family operating system, it's essential to first identify inefficiencies. This audit and review process will highlight areas that need attention. So what are your time leaks, right? What are your legal risks? Again, what are your documentation gaps? What are your technology sprawls, people and processes? What's your full client journey? Think about these things, right? Because these aren't easy questions we're asking, but it's worth thinking about, right? So improve and agree. Establishing structure. Establishing clear roles and responsibilities is essential for a thriving family operating system. Right? Define specific roles for each family member. Create written standard operating procedures for key tasks. Set policies and expectations to guide behavior and decision making. Right? Implement communication standards to ensure everyone is on the same page. You got to be on the same page, baby. And you got to communicate. So everyone must understand the system before any tools are introduced. This foundational knowledge, right, fosters cooperation and reduces confusion. The clarity gained from these actions not only strengthens family bonds, but also ensures that each member can contribute effectively to the family's overall mission. What mission are you currently putting your family upon? Right? How are you putting your family on? By working together to establish these structures, families can build a resilient operating system that supports their goals and your values. So, what are you valuing? Right? What is the driving engine behind your forces, your family's force? Right? Implement automation and repeat. Right? Driving your efficiency. So, to optimize your processes, follows this structured approach. So, number one, document, then automate. Right? Begin by meticulously documenting your existing processes. Right? So what are you currently doing every day? Right? What's taking up most of your time? Right? What's the type of work that is ultimately most clients are in need of? Right? What's their pain point? Right? What's your target audience's main pain point? What is the thing that they struggle with, and how do we focus on that? How do we focus on being the best at eliminating that pain point for our clients? So right now we're eliminating that pain point for you all, meaning that you all know that time is one of your most precious assets. You want to fire your job, right? You want to fire yourself from the work that you're currently doing, right? You want to be able to have more time to enjoy yourself, to think healthily, to heal, to grow from your trauma, your childhood traumas, right, caused by your family, right? You want to analyze the outcomes of your automation efforts to understand effectiveness. You want to improve the weak step, identify the bottlenecks or inefficiencies, and refine these areas for better performance. You got to repeat these loops quarterly at the minimum quarterly, every day, really, but at least quarterly. Regularly revisit these steps to ensure continuous improvement and adaptation to new challenges. This cyclical method not only enhances operational efficiencies, but also promises a culture of accountability and adaptability within your family and organization. By establishing a clear documentation and utilizing automation tools, you free up valuable time and resources, paving the way for sustained growth and harmony. Right? So, what's your client workflow? What's your client workflow? Are you First, again, let's talk about the initial contact with your clients. Then how does your client get seamlessly integrated, right? And then how do you build lasting relationships? How do you make sure that they have an excellent experience with you? So again, what's that first touch point and how do you engage them? How do you bring clients smoothly into that system? How do you ensure consistent follow-up and retention? Right? How do you ensure consistent follow-up and retention? Right? So let's talk about these automation engines, right? So number one is protent. How do you generate diverse protent from a single idea? Right? Marketing. How do you automate outreach and engagement with potential clients? Right? Operations. How do you streamline processes for seamless client interactions? Right? How do you research, gather insight to inform strategic decision effectively, right? Financial, managing, how do you manage budgets and track cash flows effortlessly, right? Knowledge, how do you centralize documentation, ensuring easy access to this information? What is your protent engine, right? How do you streamline this creative process with AI? Is the question that we're thinking about today. How do you transform a single idea into multiple engaging protent pieces such as scripts, blogs, videos, and more? How do you never face a blank screen again and let automation work for you? You have to utilize it as a soundboard, a thought partner. Is how we like to think about Claude, for example, right? Or Chat GPT. How do you draft compelling content quickly and efficiently? Claude is best for creating. So let's even just talk about these tools, right? So ChatGPT is great for drafting compelling content quickly and efficiently. Number two, Claude, which I really like a little bit more than ChatGPT, and I would say look actually a lot more honestly. ChatGPT is good for just general knowledge, kind of getting you into the popular thought about things and kind of just they also have a lot more generations so you can generate a lot more responses more from ChatGPT. Claude is when you're ready to get it done, right? When you know how it needs to look, because I'm telling you, them points, them credits, they they super quick. They be gone. I'm like, I just refilled, right? So Claude is what you want to utilize once you are ready to go. So create long form documents and standard operating procedures with Claude. Gemini is great for in-depth research because it has access to the Google search engine, right? It has access to be able to look at what's popular, what's trending right now, and use that to support your protein creation. Higgsfield, right? If you don't know Higgsfield, check it out. Check it out. Higgsfield enhances creative and video projects with innovative tools. It brings all these tools together, funny enough. It utilizes all these tools together. And so make sure that you are utilizing these tools because these tools will take yourself to the next level. So master your workflow because every single work requires a different workflow, right? But you got to master it. Whatever that workflow is, you got to master it, right? So again, concept generation and ideation is the first step. You got to first think about what are you trying to put together with your tools, right? With your LLM, your language learning models, right? What are you trying to put together, right? What's that content creation process? How are you thinking about this? Like, what's the? How do you know you're done? How do you know this is a good idea, right? And then the last, recording and production. Now, after you've got the script together, how do you then produce this, right? How do you put it together, right? How do you then actually effectively finish the production, right? Because again, this is no different than when people used to create films back in the day, right? But now instead of having to be out in the industry and not have the budget and having to ask others to put yourself on, you can put your ideas on the right way, right? So brainstorm ideas for future protein. Draft the scripts and outline the main points. Capture video content for various platforms, right? So again, we're talking about these engine legacies, baby. These engine legacies. So let's dive a little deeper. That was just the first part, the first half of us just kind of generalizing it. Now we're gonna dive in a little bit more into the tools, right? So make sure y'all taking your notes. Make sure that you're focused up, right? Because these engine legacies are gonna take you to the next level. So many people have been talking about the AI twin. They say, "What's up, twin? What up, twin? What up, twin?" So what's that translation of that, right? Your digital avatar enhances your learning experiences through repeatable teaching. Voice cloning enables personalized narration because people love when it sounds like you. You know what I'm talking about? While translation bridges language gaps, ensuring your message reaches diverse communities effectively. Always promote transparencies. Cause look, it's like when you're talking like this, or even if it's or it's even if it is a Niger voice or Niger talk, it can be so many different voices you can utilize, right? This is what your language module can do. If you want to be able to access yourself, you can even do this. Or if it's like, or if you want to be a little more proper, or a little bit more toner, or a little bit more nasally when you talk, or if you want to be more nasally when you talk or when you speak, you got to be able to promote what it is you do and review that if it's best for you. And so if you don't want an AI twin, you can just create an AI agent that may not sound exactly like you, but you got to create something. So what's your marketing engine, right? Before Claude and ChatGPT was my favorite for creating uh, Canva, and I still use Canva. I actually use Canva to put together this presentation. But funny enough, to put together the presentation, I utilized Claude as a connector using the MCP or the connector, right, with Canva, with Claude to put together this presentation. So that's one example of even just being able to automate this process, right? You got to automate these processes and then look over. I look, okay, I like this part. Take this part out. Take this part out. Let me add these pictures. Let me take things to the next level, right? Let me make sure it fits what we're trying to get across, right? Because again, what's that marketing engine? Consistency over intensity, baby. Consistency over intensity. So your marketing efforts can work seamlessly even during downtime. So by building a reliable system, you ensure consistent engagement, allowing for effective follow-up even when you may forget. This is the key. This is the key, and that's what we're going to. That's what we're taking things to the next level. That's why this is our major push to make sure that we're consistently talking about this every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Right, this is going to be our persistent time to talk about this. So I thank y'all for tuning in. Right, so marketing engine channels, right, Facebook and Instagram. So utilize these platforms to engage with your audience daily. Build relationships and sharing updates that matter to your community. So what matters to the community that you're speaking to, right? What are you specifically reminding them of, right? So one thing we heard recently is fraud chief pleading the fifth. We know that's been a big thing on these social media streets. You know what I'm saying? People say they say conspiracy theorists or conspiracy theorists are up 1,000. You know what I'm talking about? We up 1,000. We up 1,000. We up 1,000. Why? Because we kept going. You know, we lost so many friends, lost so many family. You know, and people think they can't trust you, but it's really I can't trust them. You know what I'm talking? I can't trust a spirit or person or being who would allow the government to infect their body with poison and then invite others to do the same. That's craziness, right? That's violation. That's a spiritual violation. There's no other way to say it. That's a spiritual violation. And people who do things like that, you got to review. You got to review them. You got to examine them. You got to examine them, right? So CRM and the booking, right, is the one of these engine and channels that you got to focus on, right? Because how are you keeping your relationships, right? Because relationships are going to change, right? Relationships are going to change, right? But you have to be able to make sure that you're engaging. So use customer relationship management tools for streamlining your follow-ups, your appointment bookings, enhancing organization efficiencies in your business operations, right? If it's too disjointed, it'll show. So Facebook and Instagram, utilize these platforms to engage with your audience daily. Build relationships and sharing updates that matter to your community. YouTube and TikTok. So create compelling video content that educates and entertains your followers. So that's why we're on YouTube right now, right? Because while we're also providing this masterclass here with the slides and everything, we still want to make sure we talk to our YouTube folk, reaching new demographics and enhancing brand visibility effectively, right? So DM and automation, implementing direct messaging and comment automation to maintain personalized communication, ensuring no interaction is missed with potential customers. You gotta automate, baby. You gotta automate, baby. Say automate, automate. Let's be great. Let's be great. Automate, automate. Let's be great. Let's be great. Yeah. So that automated funnel, right? Streamlining your customer journey. The automated funnel transforms engagement into proversions or proversions, right? Because you know what I'm saying. Through strategic comment responses, automated DMs, compelling lead magnets, effective email sequences, personalized consultations. Again, because we turn all these cons into pros if you're paying attention. Seamless customer acquisition processes, right? You got to make sure it's seamless, baby. And this will all roll into your what they call SOPs or your standard operating procedure. And that's your operation engine. So you got to streamline your business processes, right? You got to write down what it is you do every day, right? And streamline that. So the operations engine ensures smooth booking, onboarding, and delivery. By standardizing and automating your processes, your business maintains efficiency even on your worst days, allowing you to focus on your growth. You got to focus on your growth, man. You got to focus on your family because, again, FAMILY, you got to I love you, right? You got to love yourself, baby. And you got to focus on that family because that's why we're doing this. So, operations and practice, the intake form, right? What's your intake form? So your intake form automatically routes themselves to the right team members, ensuring efficient communication and swift action without manual intervention. What's your engagement letters, right? Engagement letters can be generated in just minutes, streamlining the onboarding process and allowing teams to focus on their core mission. So what's your core mission, right? How are you taking yourselves to the next level? Task list. are created automatically based on project needs, removing the need for manual tracking and enabling more effective management. Memory independence, right? Nothing depends on remembering specific tasks, allowing team members to operate effectively without the stress of keeping everything in mind, right? People got to know their job. People got to know their work. People got to know what it is that they are expected to do, but they aren't going to know what to do if you don't know what to do, if you don't know how to hold them accountable on how it should be done, right? Because that's your job to tell them how it should be done. They may know what to do, but they may not do it well enough. And so, just like you have to train AI, you got to still train people, baby. You know, so ain't nothing free. You know, you may not like AI. Okay, well then you got to train your people. Then you got to train your employee. And so, if you don't have the patience to train that person, then at least be training the AI bot, right? Because while you're figuring out how to keep the Terminator 3 from happening, right? You got to be able to focus on the reality, right? You got to focus on the reality of where your world is going, right? So, what's the research engine? You got to uncover insights for sustainable community impact, right? So, again, another way to do that is, at least that we utilize, right? AI monitor grants. Leverage AI technology to identify and track potential grants, ensuring your organization remains funded and competitive in the evolving landscape, right? Another one is sponsor discovery. Utilizing advanced tools to discover sponsorship opportunities, connecting your mission with organizations aligned with your values and goals. Another third one is competitor analysis. Analyze industry competitors to understand trends, strategies, and best practices that will help elevate your organization's performance and outreaches. You got to pay attention, baby. It pays to pay attention, baby. Let me repeat that. It pays to pay attention. So I thank y'all for paying attention right now because it pays to pay attention. And sometimes you won't pay attention until you pay, baby. You won't pay attention till you pay. You know what I'm talking about? So grants and reporting, right? So streamline your processes for funding and oversight support, right? Your funding summaries, right? Your automated funding summaries allows you to quickly access and present financial data for your projects and your initiatives effectively, right? So board reports. Generate comprehensive board reports using real-time data to ensure transparency and informed decision making in your organization. Another thing is program design, right? Utilize evidence-based insights to support your program. Why are you thinking about your program this way? Enhancing your ability to meet community needs and attract funding opportunities. And again, most importantly, after you're done after you're done producing the response, you got to review the response. Too many people are just uh, generating the response and then sending it off. You gotta check it out to make sure it looks and sounds like you and actually is the message or the purpose of what you were trying to get done. So we call that the human review rule, right? AI and human collaboration. So while AI can draft documents efficiently, it's crucial that humans, us, verify every citation and deadline. Legal and financial outputs must always undergo human review. Speed cannot replace judgment, right? So right now, that's how you know we're still in the driver's seat of this Terminator Matrix war. You know what I'm talking about? Because we are still needed to make those important decisions. But when it can make decisions without you, then we'll have a different tune. The financial engine, streamlining your finances for greater impact and clarity, right? Streamline your finances for greater impact and clarity, right? So again, budget dashboard, right? So how are you thinking about your information? How do you have a centralized view of your financial health, allowing you to track income, expenses for informed decision making? Where is most of your money going? How are you tracking that? Donation tracking, right? Simplified tracking of donations received, helping you maintain clear records and recognizing donor contributions accurately and efficiently, right? You gotta be have a cat your cash flow visibility. So gain insights into your cash flow trends. Where does the money go once you do get the money, right? So many people have that question or need that clarity. Where's the money? That's the question to ask. Where's the money, right? Gain insights into your cash flow trends, ensuring you can manage resources wisely and plan for future financial needs, right? So for us, right, we got three babies that we're taking care of. So one thing we realized was the milk. The money's going into the milk, baby. That's why I bought the cow. You know what I'm talking about? So money conversations, building financial transparency and understanding together, right? You got to build financial transparency, and understanding together. So what's that shared visibility? Establish a shared financial view between spouses to ensure both partners are informed and aligned on financial goals and decisions. You got to think about this, baby. What's your shared visibility? What's that thing that y'all are coming together for? What's y'all family legacy? What brings y'all together, baby? You know what I'm saying? What brings y'all together, man? What's gonna keep y'all together? Because things are gonna get difficult. Not if, but surely. And if y'all don't have a vision, a shared mission, it's gonna be trouble. So monthly number, right? So what's that monthly number, right? What agree on a monthly financial figure that represents your family's budget, fostering accountability and open discussions about spending priorities. So what's that? What's that number? What's that amount that y'all need to take y'all sales over the hump? You know what I'm saying? For us, it's about 3 to 9 thousand. 3 to 9 thousand monthly is what we need monthly. You know what I'm talking about? So that's the ballpark, right? So teaching stewardship, educate your children on financial responsibilities by involving them in discussions, helping them understand the value of money and stewardship, right? And this leads into the knowledge engine. You got to streamline processes for organizational efficiencies and clarity. Again, talking about SOPs, your templates, right? So your standard operating procedures help ensure consistency, allow your team to perform tasks efficiently without reinventing the wheel. This will lead into your legal documents, right? Your agreements, your legal documents that provide essential frameworks for business operations, safeguarding your interests while establishing clear expectations with your stakeholders. So who has a stake in you? Right? Meeting notes, right? So your meeting notes and training resources serve as valuable references, ensuring important insights and decisions are documented and easily accessible for future uses, right? And make sure every process is documented. That's one of the keyest things. So even right now, as we're talking in this meeting, AI is documenting the notes, right? We got to make sure. Let me make sure that's on, right? Yep, yep. Notes is on right now. You know what I'm talking about? So that we can make sure that we see what was a good highlight. So it's a recording in for recording for the video, so it's gonna clip it up as well, right? You gotta make it easy, baby. You gotta take it easy, baby. You gotta make it easy, bro. You know, so every process is documented. So what's that centralized knowledge hub, right? All essential processes are documented, ensuring new team members can learn efficiently. Your spouse and children will have access to everything, making the business transparent and easy to manage. You got to make it easy for them. If it's not easy for them, then you're failing right now, right? You're failing right now. You're failing right now. So right now, we're gonna switch over and do a live AI workflow demo. We're gonna do a live AI workflow demo. Let me see if I can show y'all. Let me get this up on here real quick. Let me get this up on here real quick. Yeah, we're gonna share the screen real quick. Hold on, yeah, let me share the screen real quick for y'all, man. Let me share the screen for y'all. Hold on one second. So we're gonna get into some AI. So make sure if y'all at home right now too, man, feel free to, you know what I'm talking about, get that up right now. Yeah, get that up right now. Let me stop the share. Let me share the screen back again. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that y'all pull up y'all chat GPT. If y'all got chat GPT, shout out to chat, man. Chat changing lives over here, you know what I'm talking about. So let's open up Safari. Cause we in the wild, baby. So we open up Safari right now. Let me see if I can show y'all what we on. Show y'all what we on. You know what I'm saying? Let me show y'all what we on right now, man. Look at that. Check that out. Check it out. Check it out. So let's start with the holy grail. You know what I'm talking about? Chat GPT, you know what I'm saying? So one thing that y'all gotta do, y'all gotta figure out right now, right, is thinking about uh thinking about what is your standard operating procedure. Let me just ask that question. What is our standard operating procedure? That's one thing we've been talking about. That's one thing that we've been mentioning, right? See if we can zoom in on that. A little dirty right there. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Mm-hmm. Let me make sure I wipe the screen for y'all, man. So let me keep it right here, man. Keep it right here for y'all real quick. Yeah, wipe that screen for y'all real quick. Uh-huh. That's standard operating procedure I wrote. So right now we wrote the standard operating procedure. So if you're referring to our SOPs from our company, so paste the SOP here, explain, summarize, and it'll talk it out, right? Okay, we're not even logged in yet. That's why I was like, it didn't provide nothing back. So let's first log in, right? Let's first log into because again, it does things by memory. So based on the memory, based on what you've done before, right? Based on what you've done before, it's gonna be able to take you to the next level. So what is our main what are our main SOPs? Watch this now. You see the difference. Let me show you the difference between the response. If it see how it's already remembering, it didn't know me the last one. Now it knows me now. I'm talking about. So based on everything we built together, your businesses are converging on one unified operating system. Every recurring task should fit into one of those core into these core SOPs. Executive command SOPs, your daily workflow, review your dashboard, review your revenue, review your grants, review legal deadlines, review sponsorship pipelines, assign tasks to AI agents, review completed works, end of day reports, right? Right? LE Impact, super agent, content, engine SOPs, generate clients every day, right? Workflow, research trending topics, generate scripts, create graphics, create videos, repurpose content, schedule content, response to comments, collect leads, measure performance, daily content across Instagrams, threads, Facebook, YouTube, Shorts, TikTok, LinkedIn, and your school community, right? So turn attention into revenue, right? Turn attention into revenue. So let's ask it now. What is the best, or better said, which SOPs can you automate for me? Let's ask it, right? Which SOPs can you automate for me? You just ask what we need, baby. You gotta be honest. You gotta be honest with the chat, right? You gotta be honest with the chat. When you're honest with the chat be honest with you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Chat be honest with you. So nearly all of them, the biggest limitation is the AI. It's whether the task requiring a legal judgment, a physical action, or access to an external system. Your vision for LE Impact is the central AI super agent is a good fit because it can orchestrate these workflows instead of acting as a single chat box. Here's how I divide them: family, fully automatable today, daily executive dashboard, daily task assignments, KPI reporting, content calendar generation, script writing, social media captions, blog writing, newsletter drafting, grant opportunity monitoring, sponsorships, prospect research, grant eligibility matching, follow up reminders, client onboarding checklists, document organizations, SOP generation, knowledge base updates, meeting summaries, weekly business reports, standard legal documentation, first drafts, calendar planning, email triage, invoice reminders, CRM updates, lead scoring, standard operating reports, mostly automatable, grant applications, drafting, sponsorship outreach, nonprofit formation paperwork, legal intake, discovery questionnaires, right? Board meeting preparation, compliance reminders, donor stewardship, volunteer coordination, webinar preparation, course management, client communications, proposal generations, contract generations from templates. Human approval should remain before filing or sending final legal documents. So what's the legal strategy? Court filings, negotiations, grant final reviews, board decisions, client consultations, sponsorship negotiations, personal injury case strategies, settlement analysis. AI prepares everything. You make the final decision, right? And so that's just a window into how it can be utilized. We're just gonna do chat. Next one we're gonna do on Claude. We're gonna do Claude later though in our next chat, in our next walk through. You know what I'm talking about? So let's get back to the presentation. Let's get back to the presentation. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to the presentation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's get back to preview now. Uh, so we sharing now. We back in preview mode. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So again, after that was our workflow demo. You know what I'm saying? So we just gave a quick flow out here. So we're gonna close out over here. Actually, we're gonna get to the hour. We're gonna get to the hour. We're gonna give it 11 minutes. We got 11 minutes to the hour on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about? So let's push through. You know what I'm talking about? So from overwhelmed to empowered, right? So bridging the efficiency gap. You began this journey feeling overwhelmed, but now you recognize that the challenge stemmed from a lack of structure. Transform your busyness into purposeful presence for greater impact. Transform your busyness into purposeful presence for greater impact. So from overwhelmed to empowered. Serving leader, serving leaders burden, right? Serving leaders burden. So you balance in business and family. Founders often find themselves overwhelmed by endless paperwork. After serving their organization, little energy remains for family life, highlighting the need for efficient systems to regain the balance. You got to reclaim your time. Focus on what matters. You got to focus on what matters. So while machines can handle repetitive tasks, it's essential to prioritize human connection. Empower your team to engage meaningfully. Ensure that compassion drives your mission, not your paperwork. So raising entrepreneurs, cultivating skills in children for future success. Communication skills. So children learn to express ideas clearly, enhancing their leadership abilities and understanding of teamwork in diverse situations. Financial literacy. Teaching children about money management equips them with essential skills for budgeting, saving, and making informed financial decisions. Technology responsibility. Educating children on the responsible use of technology fosters critical thinking and prepares them for future challenges in the digital world. Right? So age appropriate involvement. Engaging children in family business activities meaningfully. Young children are naturally curious and eager to learn. Encourage their questions to foster a love for exploration and knowledge. So what are the middle years? So middle years grow, grow, assign them small, real responsibilities that build their confidence and teach the value of contributing to the family. Team projects. So teams should engage in building and presenting projects. This empowers them to express creativity while developing essential skills for future endeavors, right? So again, what's the family business? What's the family business that you're coming together for? Building a legacy through togetherness and planning. So those Sunday discussions, that Sunday planning at the kitchen table encourages open dialogue, letting children hear how decisions impact the family business and their values. So teaching these values. So right, so naming the values behind financial decisions help children understand the principles guiding the family. Right, business fostering a sense of responsibility. So what's that next generation? What's that next generation that you're leading through, right? So by involving children in discussions, we ensure they learn essential skills, building a foundation for their future entrepreneurial journey. So marriage as a system. Marriage is that system that's going to take you together, taking it to the next level and allow you to finish the family that you started. So you got to build those strong foundations for your business and your family. So what and how are you going to do that? A shared calendar. A shared calendar allows both partners to stay aligned, ensuring that important dates and responsibilities are managed together. Strongly meetings, regular alignment meetings foster open communication, helping couples address issues quickly and strengthen their partnership in business and life. You got to do this together because marriage is the system. Clear roles. Defining clear roles eliminates confusion and ensures accountability, allowing each partner to focus, on their strengths and support each other effectively. Right? So health, rest, and faith. Health, rest, faith. Right? Essential elements for sustaining your family legacy. Rest as a system. Rest should be viewed as a structured practice, essential for productivity, not merely a reward for hard work, right? Rest as a system. So it should be put into your calendar times of rest, right? That is important. Protecting your health, prioritizing health safeguards for everything you built. A healthy foundation supports long-term success and resilience in both business and families. Direction from faith. Faith provides purpose and direction, guiding your actions and decisions, fostering creativity and clarity in your personal and professional endeavors. Right? It's that legacy dividend. Right? So inheritance beyond assets. Documented systems ensure that knowledge is preserved, allowing future generations to inherit capabilities, not just assets. Right? So ways of doing things, those trade secrets. Right? Legacy becomes the goal, while automation serves as the essential tool. Right? Legacy is the goal. So choose your path, right? Choose your path of how you're going to work with us, right? You can start with the standard option, right? The entry option, the beginner option, access the framework, community support, training to start building your family operating systems from the ground up. And that's offered to you free of charge on school, right? The second is premium tier, right? For 99 a month, create your repeatable systems and workflows benefiting from the full systems building and ongoing group coaching for your family business. Again, this is all available on our stand store. Check it out in the link inside on the YouTube, right on that YouTube channel. And then the last is our VIP tier, right? For 997 a month, Receive customized design and implementation support, including one-on-one coaching and all necessary templates for your operations. And so for you being here today, we want to give you a special offer. We want to give you a special offer, right? So we have a couple free offerings with the grant checklist, whether the beginners information, right, the nonprofit starter guide, right, as well as also information of our child coloring book, as well as also our links and our YouTubes to check out, our use of AI, different things of that nature to take you to the next level that you can get started with, right? So the standard model, right, is a framework that access community support for success. We built that on learning the framework. This is your entry into trying this out, that free trial period, right? Community support, right? Strongly training. Participate in these live training sessions. So this is first of many, right? We're going to be making sure that you take yourself to the next level, enhance your skills, and stay up on best practices and strategies. ProNet like-minded individuals for guidance, encouragement, and shared experiences as you navigate your entrepreneurial journey together. Premium tier, right? You got to be on premium, baby. Unlock your potential with advanced system automation, right? Create consistent workflows and standard operating procedures that streamline operations and ensure smooth business functionality, right? Engage in group coaching sessions that provide ongoing support, guidance, and accountability to help you achieve your business goals. Leverage cutting edge technology for grant writing and automation, enhancing efficiency and freeing time for strategic growth initiatives, right? You got to free up your time. And that rolls into our VIP tier. Again, this is the best tier. Designing your systems allows you to collaborate and design a tailored system that meets your unique business needs, ensuring seamless integration and functionality, right? Custom automation strategy. So we customize it to what you've already been doing. We always love to start where what's already been working for you, because that's a lot of ways to save time. Because there's something you're doing that's working. You just may not have realized it yet, right? And that's our job to bring that out, right? That's part of our audit and review, right? So receive a personalized automation strategy that optimizes your processes, enhances efficiency and effectiveness in your operations. Priority coaching. So enjoy priority coaching or one-on-one coaching sessions with us, providing you with direct access to expert guidance and support throughout your offer. So once again, that strong one overview, right? So this was happening in that first strong, right? Audited time leaks. On day one, identify inefficiencies in your schedule that consume valuable time without yielding productive outcomes for your business. Two, document process. Day two involves recording a specific business process, creating clarity in operations, and establishing a foundation for improvement. Three, automate that process, right? On day three, implement automation for the documented process, enhancing efficiency and consistency in your daily operations moving forward, and then present to your family. By day seven, share your findings and improvements with your family, reinforcing a collaborative approach to managing your business effectively, right? So again, let's talk about that again on day one. Day one, you're going to be identifying your inefficiencies in your schedule that consume valuable time without yielding productive outcomes for your business, right? Day two, what are you going to do next? This is the first 7 days of working with us, right? So day two involve recording specific business process, creating clarity in operations, and establishing a foundation for improvements, right? Number three, day three, you're going to implement that automation, right, for the documented process, enhance efficiencies and consistencies in your daily operations moving forward, right? And then from day three to day seven or day six, you're gonna be examining what worked, what didn't work, and on day seven, you're gonna share your findings and improvements with your family, reinforcing a collaborative approach to manage your business effectively. And so to take this idea to the next level, what you're gonna do is then involve your family in this process. They're gonna then document, they're going to audit, they're going to document, they're going to automate, and then present to you one area of the business that you have assigned to them or that they have freely chosen to assign themselves to. This is going to help you all be able to automate your entire business in a much more quicker fashion. So who is this for? Right? Who are we talking to? We're talking to people who want to build together for success, who want to build with their hubby, their wifey, want to build with their family, right? Because this program is designed for owners and couples ready to document systems and for leaders who desire more time rather than increased output, emphasizing sustainable growth and structure. Because you can't be a king without a queen, baby. You know what I'm talking about? You You can't do it. You can't be a real one without a queen, baby, without a real lady in your life. So technology and families, right? It's the lasting connection that matters. So while technology evolves and tools change, right, you can't create a baby with that AI. You know what I'm talking about? So the people at your table remain prostant, right? So focus on building enduring relationships and values that withstand the test of time amidst shifting landscape, right? So again, what's next going to then happen in the next 90 days, in the 3 months of working with us on month one, we're going to then document on audit all your processes to identify inefficiencies and areas of improvement within your business framework. Month two, automate two engines, right, to streamline operations, enhancing productivity and allowing for better focus on strategic growth initiatives. Month three, we're going to teach your family and team in the new processes, ensuring everyone is aligned and capable of executing the systems effectively. And then continuous improvement. 90 days from now, your business will operate more efficiently, freeing up time for you to focus on what matters most, which is that fam. And so, are we? What is our final promise, man? What's our final promise? Because we're nearing the end. And if we got any questions, feel free to write them questions in the chat. Our final promise is that you work less, live more. We're here to empower you to use AI effectively. And we ain't just talking about that standard artificial. We're talking about that advanced intelligence, right? Ensuring your business supports your family life. Embrace technology to reclaim your time and focus on what truly matters, your loved ones. Your loved ones is what truly matters. And you're doing this for them. So take the time to do it for them. Take the time and keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is your time, baby. You have to think and grow rich. And then say work harder and grow rich. It says think and grow rich. So what you think about is going to be the key to your success, the key to your evolution, the key to you being the best version of yourself, the thing that nobody can take away from you, the thing that you were destined to do on this planet, right? The thing that you've been thinking about that won't go away. That conference call. I mean, that call that was not a conference call, right? That personal call that was not a conference call, that was assigned to you to achieve that thing that you must do, that you've been putting on. You must do it. You can do it. You will do it. You're powerful enough to get it done. Keep believing, keep achieving, keep pushing yourself, and you will get there.